Hello, everybody. I'm Kelly Jo from the Times, and I'm here with Mary Inman of Jacksboro.
Mhm.
And before we get into the discussion today, I wanted to take just a minute and tell you when and how I first met Mary, and kind of set up how all this came really to pass as far as her story unfolding to me. Um, Mary has written a book called Living Proof, and we wanted to put this information out there for victims. And Mary had hosted exchange students for me,
Mhm.
actually, quite a few years back, probably beginning of what, 2018 maybe?
Yeah,
Something
because
like
Josiah
that.
was just a baby. Yeah.
It's been a while. And I had known her for probably 2 years. And one day we were in the car. We were working on a homeless story
Yes.
of the homeless people in the county. And we were getting some video footage and camera footage.
That's it. That's it.
And she shared a story with me. She said, "You may not know this about me,
Mhm.
Kelly, but I have quite a history." And she said, "I try not to talk about it unless I'm asked." In fact, you have been asked to talk about it a lot. You know,
Mhm.
you've been the guest speaker at multiple
Mhm.
functions. And she began to tell me this story that was so riveting and disturbing
Mhm.
that I could not believe the story that she was telling me was the same person that was sitting there, for two reasons. Number one, there was not a victim sitting beside me at all,
Mhm.
and never. And to have gone that long knowing me well and have never mentioned that, to me, was just mind blowing.
Mhm.
And that was just another mark up to the fact that, she is not moving her life forward as a victim. She's not. The other thing is that she's just the best mother. And she even helps raise other people's children. And she has, if anybody had reason to be bitter,
Mhm.
maybe, or to take another path and have it justified, it would be Mary, but
Mhm.
she
Mhm.
didn't. And I'm just so impressed with that. And
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, so I'm just going to hush, and I'm going to let Mary just do a little bit of talking here and tell us about her book, and we'll get into a little bit more Q&A here in just a
Mhm.
moment. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about the book, Mary.
So it's been written for about 2 years now. And it just kind of, I had it edited, and then it's been, and then I had another person look over and edit it, and then somebody else at final. Um, Still finding mistakes in it, but that's kind of how it goes. Um, but I just kind of left it sitting there for 2 years because I just didn't feel like it was time yet. And maybe it was a little bit of fear out of how are people going to react. And because a lot of people don't know what I have been through, I just was worried that they would look at me different after reading my book, and it would change kind of the perception that people had of me. And I cannot stand for people to feel sorry for me. I never have liked it. So it just kind of sat there, and then one day I was like, you know what? It's time. I got on Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, fought with that for a couple of days, redid the format 40 billion times, and then hit publish book, and then it just kind of went crazy. So I was a little taken back. I knew that it would, among friends and family, it would do well. But I have, people from California sending me emails. I just read your book, and it touched me. And people telling me their stories from all over North Dakota. And I'm like, I didn't realize that so many people already in just a week would have read it. So to me, that's.
Yeah, that's incredible. Full disclosure, I've ordered the book on Amazon. It
Mm-hmm.
has not made it here yet, so I was unable to read the book. And I was trying to skim it,
Mm-hmm.
quickly, because we knew that we had to do it on this date, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
we can't go here yet. But I'm just going to grab this real quick and let you just kind of see. The font on this is really large. This is a quick read,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and it's not for the faint of heart.
No, do not take
This,
it on vacation.
yeah, yeah. This is it's a graphic book.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that you're going to want your child to read or anything like that. But if you are a survivor of sexual abuse, this book is
Mm-hmm.
really going to probably speak to you. And, you know, Mary was at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
She was in high school when you approached your principal. Was it Claiborne County High School?
It was actually he has passed away now, but my school resource officer. He was also my criminal justice teacher, and he was just the person I trusted more than anything.
Yeah.
And so it was him I went to.
And he was the one who got the ball rolling and
Mm-hmm.
the wheels, you know, turning to give
Yeah.
you the help that
After
you needed.
he picked his jaw up off the floor, he he was like, "I believe you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna help you. Let's get the right people here, so you don't have to tell this 100 times."
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He got all of the right players at a table.
And got you the help that you needed and
Right.
got you out of that situation.
Yes.
Um,
It started when I was 12 and went until I was 17.
Also, for those of you following this happened in Claiborne County.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to include some screenshots of some of the news media clippings. And if you're kind of wondering what is all this, you know, what is the story? They actually referred to you as the shock collar victim.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how the media had I don't want to say nicknamed you, but that's the story. That's how they
Right.
carried
And
it.
then I believe it was ABC News. Their article is "Shock collar rape dad" or something, just very like
Very
know,
blunt.
right.
Yeah. And it was ugly.
yes.
And he did go to prison. I know some of that is
Mhm.
discussed in here, and apparently he's currently out.
He is out. Lifetime sex offender registry and lifetime parole probation, however you word that. And he's nowhere near us. He is halfway across the country from
Yeah,
what I know. So
it's terrible what happened to you,
Mhm.
and the fact that you're giving back. I know you spoke for Jared Effler at one of his victim walks.
Mhm.
Tell us some other opportunities that you've had to kind of, I don't want to use the word give back, but turn it. Something that could have really been used to just destroy you. You've made it into something that can help heal others. So tell us a little bit about how you've managed to do that,
Well,
just in the community.
I worked with the Campbell County Children's Center for a long time, and still, am very close with all of them. They actually were in on helping with the case when it first started, so I was able to give back by going and working with them. And I did a lot of domestic violence and sexual assault work for a long time. I did step away from that type of line of work when I became a mother, so that I could focus on my children and write my book. And I have gotten a few awards, over the years, but I don't talk about it a lot because I don't want any kind of gratification. I just want to help people. I feel like it gives me, when somebody comes to me with a problem or they need a shoulder, I feel like it gives me knowledge to be able to help them the best I can. I've done the homeless project with you. We worked on that. So I feel like it's allowed me to be more tender-hearted to those who are less fortunate, whether it be whatever the reason being.
A woman with an experience is never at the mercy of a woman with an argument.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? You could sit down and talk to someone, even a teenager who has gone through it or going through it, and you're going to be able to relate to them in a way that no one else can.
Correct.
I mean, I know that we have to have training and we have to have professionals in this line of work, but there's something about a connection of a comrade, somebody who has been in the mud with the bullets and everything with you. You can connect to them and they would open up to you probably, and in just a way that no one else could comprehend.
Right. And this book too is very God-based. It talks a lot about my walk with God and my spiritual battles and where I am now. I have the only reason I'm here and not on the other side of the tracks per se is because of God's grace. From a very young age, I knew what my father was doing was wrong. There was never any, well, maybe this is it was my normal, but I knew it wasn't normal, if that makes sense. So when I finally got brave enough to leave, um, it was all because of God's mercy and grace and guidance, because I would not be here without that. I know that for sure.
Was your situation, and you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, were you threatened to not tell?
Oh, yes, for years. And there's so much more. The shock collars were used as a form of punishment. Um, there was a lot of physical abuse, for years. Emotional abuse. And then, of course, the sexual abuse started when I was 12. And kind of, and then when I decided to leave 1 month before I turned 18. And I was like, what's he going to do? It finally hit me. What is he going to do? Is he going to call the police and tell them I ran away so I could tell them what he did,
Exactly.
And then I was like, well, I can't because of my baby sister. Because him and I, and it is in the book, had struck a deal that I would go along with whatever he asked if he never touched my younger sister. So I was like, well, I can't go because she would have to take my place. Sorry. So I decided, no, it's time to go forward. It's time to tell somebody. And I asked God, how do I do this? And it was take the first step. I heard it in my mind, take the first step. So that's what I did, and here I am.
He put the right person in the right place at the right time for you to be able to open up without fear.
Right.
And just say what you
yes.
said. And I don't want to give, too much of the way. Obviously, a lot of this is in the book, but I remember you telling me the line you told him, how it was just so, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I just, bless his heart and may he rest in peace.
That was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I just walked up to him, and I said, I need to talk to you after class. He sat down at his desk. I walked up and I said, my dad has been raping me since I was 12 years old. He put shock collars on us. Look, you can see the bruises from the shock collar right here. And he was like,
yeah, and that you wouldn't be at school.
Right.
You were going to miss school the next day
and I was
something.
like, I'm leaving. I'm not going back home. But I need someone to protect my sister because I didn't understand the system. I thought I'm too old for foster care. But I needed somebody to get in there and protect her. And so he was just like, I believe you. Thank you for trusting me with this. He said, let's get the right people at the table. Go on to your next class. I'll call you back. And he did. I was brought into the office and DCS. And the normal child abuse detective was actually out that day on vacation, and someone was standing in, and I have been told, and his name was Sam, and I adore him, but I have been told that it was just a miracle that he was the one there that day, that things would not have probably went the way they went had it not been him standing in.
Really?
And
you
so,
want to talk about that?
I mean, it just, I never inquired, like, well, what do you mean by that? I just was like, well, thank you, God, because he knew what I needed. He knew the people that needed to be in place, and he made it happen. And so I've never questioned. We can all assume and make assumptions, but all that matters to me is that the right people were at the table that day. And I will never forget, they had picked us all up, and he walked over to the car, and he opened the car door, and he looked me dead in the face. My brother was beside me. He said, he will never lay another hand on you. And shut the door and walked off, and they went, and of course my father ran from the police, and they found him later in the middle of the night, and, of course. But he was right. He has never laid a hand on me again. Justice was definitely, although he is now out now, I feel like justice has been served. I don't have any hatred. Obviously, I don't send him a Christmas card. We have no contact. And never will. But I couldn't carry that hatred around and write a book. Like, I just couldn't get it out because I was so angry. And so once I was able to let go of that anger, and just, I do pray for him. I pray for mercy, because if you're a religious person, you know exactly what the Bible tells us about people who hurt children. So I do pray for mercy for his soul, and that's all I can do.
Have you got to a place where you have been able to forgive him yet?
I have. And it was not easy. It was not an easy road. It was,
I'd say,
I fought tooth and nail, but when he took the Alfred plea, and you can look that up and see exactly what that means, but
Alfred plea?
yeah, at the new trial, he took the Alfred plea, and the judge asked, the special judge from, I believe he was from Nashville, asked if I had anything to say, if I was okay with it. And it was kind of in that moment when I was like, yes, I want to move on with my life. I am tired of having to relive and rehash this. Not in that words, but yes, I'm okay with it. Let's do it. Let's get it over with. Because I had no desire to go through another trial. And whatever, his reasons for taking the Alfred plea, he pled guilty. And to me, that was all I needed. Yeah. I didn't care about as long as he follows the rules that he's supposed to follow and never hurts anyone else. And from what I understand, he is very closely monitored. And he is still monitored, I believe, by Claiborne County detectives, even though he does not live in the state. So he's still there's still a tight rein on him.
Okay, that's interesting. What was writing this book? Was this closure? Was this the period at the end of the sentence on ever being a victim, and now you're going to move forward? A victor. Was it to help other people?
Yeah, it was.
Both?
It was healing. It was extremely healing for me, but also it was. I don't feel like God led me through all of that, and that I went through all of that, all of the trauma and all of the beatings and the sexual assault in vain. I do feel like there are still people out there, lots of people, who are struggling, who have went through traumatic events, even if it's not sexual or physical, that can read this book and realize that faith in God can get you through so much. But also that you're not alone. You're not the only one who had a bad childhood. You're not the only one who has had tragedy strike. There are others, and that's what I want people to get from my book, is that you can overcome. And it is a short read because it is a prequel to another line of books that detail the story much more.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's going to be a follow-up. This is just basically a highlight or an outline.
Yes.
And
It's
then, of course,
memoir,
kind of. Then, of course, we're going to have more of a detailed story and an in-depth story. And I have heard that version of it, and I can only imagine what that book is going to be like, and how both painful it will be and healing to probably write that
right
at the same time.
Well, it is finished. It's also still sitting on my computer.
Oh.
So when the time is right,
Welcome to my world.
when I feel like this one has served its purpose, then I will publish the other one.
Okay. Wow. I mean, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you because, again, I knew the story on another level, and till this day, it just blows my mind. And to see you, here today, how you are, and to have even known you, back in 2017 and 2018, and knowing that I would have never in 1,000 years ever put a stamp on you that said victim in any way, and that's just a testament, to how wonderful God is, and how He pours in that healing oil.
Yes.
He doesn't have to do it. So,
Right.
you're just a walking victory, and I just
Thank you.
I want to give credit for that.
And you can purchase the book on Amazon.
Well, I was going to say we're going to put the link in the comments.
Yes.
Actually, but is there a couple different ways to get the book?
Yes, there is hardback. And if you know me, you'll find this amusing and not surprising at all. I meant to do the hardback large print and the paperback normal print, but somehow in the submission process that got turned around. You can also download it on Kindle Unlimited, and so far over 90 have been downloaded on Kindle Unlimited.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I've had several, that takes a little longer from Amazon to get those stats, but from what I can see coming in, several hardback and paperback bought. But so there are 3 different ways, technically, for ebook, Kindle Unlimited, hardback, or paperback, all on Amazon. And you just type in Living Proof and it'll pop that up with my name.
Yeah.
It looks like this on Amazon as well.
Okay. Wonderful. And you're going to be doing some, maybe some book signings at
Yes,
some of the
I forgot about that. Yes, and we're still ironing out the details, but it'll be like a sip and sign. I will probably be utilizing, kind of the coffee houses in our area. I love coffee. I'm a huge coffee drinker. I do love to read and write, and so I just thought that would just bring it kind of a cozy spin to it. And if others come up, I will keep you updated. That way you can
Sure.
let everybody
we'll
know.
happily publish those for you and get that word out whenever you're going to do some other signings when you get some more specific dates.
Right.
But we will definitely put the link to the book in the comment section below. We just wanted to take this opportunity and put this out to the Times audience because we're 34,000 followers.
Wow.
And we're grateful for every one of them. And it's again, this book may not be for everybody.
Right.
But it's I think although my life has not been touched directly with something like that, I believe by reading it, I can become more sensitive to people that have gone through it,
Right.
or maybe even recognize signs. I'm a
Right.
youth leader. I'm a youth pastor at Church of God. So I think, it's always important for us to look for, I don't want to say new signs, but
Right.
everybody's situation and experience,
Well,
I'm sure, is different.
And I had reported in 5th grade physical abuse to a teacher, not in this county. I lived in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And she called and told my parents.
Oh.
So, for years, I was terrified to report it. And it was, until I was 17 before I found another teacher who I trusted, and I had a couple, and so I kind of went any, mini, miny, mo that day. Which one am I going to go to? And I just felt led to Mr. Hubbard.
To the SRO officer.
Yes, to the SRO officer, and that's where the path I chose. But I feel like, technically, the sexual abuse had not started when I reported the physical abuse. So had she done the right thing, I would have been spared it all. I do not have any ill will towards her. Times were different back then.
I guess. You still, what are you thinking?
But we know. We are, and this is, the articles are out there. They're still very easily accessible on the internet. But we're responsible for the future, now. And I think letting people know that, especially people still in hiding, because I walked around every day. I went to school every day. I had normal grades, normal friends, what appeared to be normal life with all of that, but there were signs. So if you learn what to look for and learn to spot it and trust your gut. Our gut is, and maybe I have extra spidey sense, I don't know, but most times it is like there is something in me that is like, this is a situation that needs extra attention. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and I'm like, ugh. You develop an awareness, and you have to learn to trust that, because it's never wrong. It's not.
Wow. Mary, thank you for sharing this
No, thank you.
incredible story and for opening up, and thank you for writing the book. And I can only imagine the people that this is going to help.
Mm-hmm.
So on behalf of that, I'm very proud of you. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, and I do look forward to reading it in its entirety
Yes.
once it gets here. Although I already know, it's going to be a painful read, but it's going to be well worth it.
And it does end well and very positive.
Yeah.
So, and I have had people tell me it wasn't the painful stuff that got me. It was just the way you view life that is what got them.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I thought it was the painful. And they're like, no, because unfortunately, that's life. Your response to it.
Yeah.
That's
be a victor and not a victim. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching this, and feel free to share it. And of course, you'll find the link to the book in the comment section below. Thank you.